Hi guys, welcome back to my studio. Today I want to talk to you about a couple interesting features that Stage 4 actually has. One of them is only found on Stage 4 and it's not really present on any other keyboards including Stage 3 or Stage 2 if you may have that. And this one is called Dynamic Compression. Now before we get into it, I can tell you what the manual says. I just printed something out here. Let me read that for you. So dynamic compression reduces the dynamic range of the piano sound by raising its minimum sound level. It says this feature is useful for maintaining an audible performance and even sound level, even when playing very softly and dynamically. The dynamic range in terms of timbre remains the same. Now, they also say that unlike the compressor, which is found here too, in the effects section, which affects the attack and control of the sound and contour of the sound. Often desired traits in using compressors and effect. Dynamic compression feature does not alter the character of the selected piano. Now, this is all nice and well, but what does it really mean? When I first read it, I said, that's interesting, and what is it? Now, interesting to me because some of the people that are just used playing on weighted keys like this, it's kind of easier to maintain the evenness if you play like this. Now on this keyboard, which is springy, right? It's a waterfall keyboard, and it's called semi-weighted, but you can call it anything you want to. But there's a spring out there, so you can just basically feel it. It is a little more difficult to maintain evenness when you play, and especially if you play in some classical pieces that require you to be more expressive. So it's very difficult. You can do it, but it's substantially more difficult. Now, when you use this, which is dynamic compression, and it's got like 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3. I don't suggest using anything more than 1 or 2. It evens it out. What it does, it takes the dynamic range of that key, just that key that you press, and it reduces that. Now, if you go all the way up to 3, it almost feels like you're not a touch sensitive keyboard. You know, remember the old ones were not touch sensitive. So it's like, this is almost not touch sensitive. Now, if you turn it all off, and now you can feel that. Now on the number 1, which is I kind of like here, it doesn't really do much, but it's a little bit. It's reducing a little bit dynamic rate. You can still feel it. So it's a very useful feature that I found, especially if you're playing in a band. The other one, which is very interesting to me, is this one, which is Unison. Now, what it does, if you think about this, it takes the piano that you're using. Well, I'm using a White Grand here, which is actually a Steinway sample. And what it does, it shifts the second piano just slightly on a 1, even a little bit more on a number 2, and a little bit more on a 3. So if you think about it, it makes that piano sound like real. If you think about real piano, it's got like 3 strings in the middle of the range, and those 3 strings are not exactly in tune, right? There's some beating going on between the strings. So when you turn that Unison on, it actually feels like you playing a real piano. They're a little bit out of tune, and it's really nice if you're playing some jazzy or bluesy stuff. Like, you can feel that. So this is Unison off, right? And this is all the way number 3. You can feel it. This is without it. And this is with us. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I also, before I forget, there's very good string section here. Like this one is called symphonic strings. So if you can just add some of this, and then you can actually add some of the reverb and become. It's a beautiful keyboard, beautiful, simple, and it's very, very easy to play on because of all those features. So that's why I like Stage 4. And let's see how it sounds. I'm just going to give you a taste of how nothing else but just this piano sounds on a recording. Let's go.